Welcome guys, welcome to DevOps tutorial. This is your instructor Rahul Shetty. So in this introduction lecture, let's try to understand what is DevOps and what are the main topics we are going to focus in this entire course. Okay, so first let's start with some basic definition. What is DevOps? Right, so it's a combination of best practices and also tools that increases organizations, any company's ability to successfully deliver the software into production, okay, at highest velocity. This is what you need to understand. We are being delivering the software into production from long time, but what is the difference? What DevOps is making difference? So we are delivering it with high velocity. When you say high velocity, do you know that Google delivers into production for every 30 seconds, I guess, even Amazon. So for every 1 minute you will see 2 or 3 releases into the production. So how that is happening? So that's all because of following some best practices which DevOps mechanism gives us, and also some interesting tools what we have to make that process happen. Okay, and as I told, DevOps team uses practices to automate process that historically we are doing through manual thing. Now if you want to release any product, so there is lot of manual work will go on behind the screens, that people will set up environment, install softwares, and they get the code from the developers. There are a lot of manual things we will do. Okay, so that will eventually take some hours of time to deliver something. So if you want to deliver a product, in the previous days it used to take around 4 to 5 hours of operations work, which will help us to deliver into production. But as I said, Google and Amazon is doing 2 times per every minute. How this is happening? Because everything is getting automated, right? So all the manual process should be automated, so that whenever developer writes a new code, within few minutes it has to undergo all the processing with an automation, and then it should ship into production. Okay, that's where DevOps things comes into picture. So in one word, I would say that it's all about how quality code goes out to the world from your local development machine. That's where DevOps comes into picture. So in earlier days, there are two separate teams. One is development and one is operations, right? So development team will just develop the code and they hand over it to the operations team. So operations team has to figure out what all compatible softwares they have to install in production servers to support this development code. They have to go around and do all that work, and they finally bring the code written by the developer into live. Okay, some lots of work, manual work will be done by operations team. So DevOps actually brings these two teams together as an integrated environment. So that's why the name comes from these two merge, like DevOps. So it's all one team now. And there are a lot of tools, practices where all single team comes together and implement them to achieve this high velocity software delivery into production. Now I would show you AWS Amazon documentation about what they were telling about DevOps. You see that when somebody develops a code, first of all you need to build that code, so that war file or jar file will be generated, and then you have to deploy that build code into any environment in QA servers or UAT servers, and then you need to test it. After test, you have to again deliver that code into the production servers. So this is all the process happens, and in general everything should be automated. That's where the basic theme of this DevOps model. And if you read the description here, so not only developers, even testing people also. Okay, if you see here, in some DevOps model, quality assurance, which is nothing but QA people, and security teams also tightly integrated with this DevOps team. So that means every software engineer one or other time has to be part of this DevOps cycle. everyone should come together as a team and make this happen. That's where the principle says. Okay, DevOps is ocean. So when I say it's a combination of best practices and tools, so that means there are n number of practices in the market, and there are n number of tools also in the market which will help you to achieve this delivery. Okay, it's evolving. DevOps is evolving with n number of practices. But on high level, I can tell you that there are some best practices which are commonly used. In all these two are main and important, so that one should be able to understand and implement this continuous integration and continuous delivery. So you should be able to achieve this best practice if you want to be in a position to deliver on every single day. So no matter which company or which project you work, their first goal is to implement continuous integration and continuous delivery. So I think by this time most of the companies already started implementing these best practices, and there are still few more, like once code into production, you can monitor the logs, like what's happening in the production, to make sure to report it back to us if there is any events or errors. So as I said, it's an ocean. So in this course we will focus on two important things which are commonly asked and expected if you join in any new company, no matter you are a developer, automation tester, or anyone. So you should be able to understand what is continuous integration, what is continuous delivery, and how to achieve them, right? So to achieve this, we are gonna use these tools in our course. So we will use Docker, and our entire course will be done on Linux servers. Okay, in real time, all these deployments, your production servers will not be in Windows machine. In your Jenkins deployment jobs, everything will be configured only in Linux servers. If you are not aware of Linux, don't worry, I'll take it from scratch. So we will create a new Linux server using AWS, Amazon Web Services, because they offer cloud hosting, right? There are companies like AWS, Google Cloud, and some other companies which offer cloud services. So we are relying on AWS in this course to spin up and start a new Linux server, so that we will do all these hands-on projects in these servers. Okay, and I'll bring out the topics like Docker, Ansible. This is one of the greatest tool available in DevOps to automate so many things. And of course Jenkins. You might be knowing basics of Jenkins, but there is a lot more Jenkins can do for deployment, which you will learn here, and Git of course, and Maven to build your projects, and Chef. So these are the different tools we will come across in this course. So using all these tools, I will show how to implement solution of continuous integration and continuous delivery for your project. Okay, so this is the roadmap to get started with the DevOps and involve in delivering your softwares into production. So one thing you should remember, this course is special always and unique from other DevOps courses. Again, as I said, there could be a number of tools again, like Kubernetes. That's like again another big thing. I cannot cover this in this course because that itself will take around 7 to 8 hours for me to explain. Maybe I'll have another course coming soon on that. So like that, there are different topics here. But as a beginner, if you want to get into DevOps world and start some implementation of CI/CD, so in the course title, when I say CI/CD, it's nothing but continuous integration and continuous delivery. So no matter which company you go, you will get this interview question for sure. What is CI? What is CD? What should we do to achieve this? Right? You will definitely come across, and it's not easy to implement it. You can tell it via definition, but to implement it, you have to know many DevOps tools to implement this mechanism, right? Every topic will be taught from scratch, because that's the special of this course, and I don't assume that you have any knowledge. No matter if you don't have Linux server with you, I will show how to get one Linux server for free using AWS, because you have 1 year free plan. I will show step-by-step instructions to have this Linux machine with you, and you can happily practice and implement using this course, right? And 100% hands-on practice. Okay, you can parallelly practice with me, develop these solutions by parallelly following with me in this course, right? So that's pretty much about this lecture and introduction about DevOps and what exactly we're gonna do in this course. And to implement these two best practices, in the next lecture, we will first start to understand what is CI and CD, and also we will try to first understand deployment basics. You should know some basics like what is application server, what is hosted server. There are some basics required about deployment. We will try to understand them using Windows machine in the initially first to make you some familiar, and then immediately we will jump into Linux servers from subsequent sections. All right. See you in the next lecture with our practices and implementations. Thank you.